I painted this painting without me consciously doing it. See the Egyptian girl standing right there? Or not the Egyptian girl, just the girl standing right there, a guy. See the hips, the legs, everything like that. And here's with spray paint, but I know a lot of people are very talented at art. But for some reason, like this, I didn't even try to consciously paint it like this. But that's supposed to be me right there. Right there, yeah. And there's people walking away. And people, have you ever studied the history of Egypt and what befell the Empire of Egypt? They're still going, they're still alive, they're probably just on a different planet. Like extraterrestrials, like I had a spiritual possession, or spiritual encounter with George Washington, and it was pretty interesting because he still made sense. And look at when I do it in the mirror, there's someone sitting right there. See? I'm sitting right behind him too. See? Watch, look. See? There's someone sitting right there. You see their legs and everything. It's pretty interesting to know this, that there's a technology that helps you talk through people through their mind and could help them still live, even if the longevity of life is not that long on Earth for a human being. Just like, yes, like some famous people like that came to me. And maybe I'm a ghost whisperer or something because I'm Native American, and I go by that nickname Chief Rocky Boy, but I take that name seriously. Yes, I do talk to spirits, and spirits are real, but they're so as extraterrestrials, and I think there's logical explanation for the spiritual reawakening, that our spirit, our ghost, is not our life form. The ghost is our life form, and it carries on throughout centuries, maybe. And the logical explanation is that some of these extraterrestrials that came to me, they're not here right now, but they explained it to me that I had something to do with the Egyptian Empire as well, and the Aztec Empire. It's very interesting to know that history is still there with us. But they gave me time to readjust my life. Right here is a picture of my brother. See, right there. That's what I kind of outlined was my brother. And a lot of this picture is my brother because I love my little brother so much. Like right there where he's holding his neck and it looks like he's choking. But he has a skinny body. And a lot of this has to do with dinosaurs too. Dinosaurs and humans reacted to each other very harshly back in the day. Back in the medieval times as well. Dinosaurs are more technologically advanced than humans are. There's like a thing called antimatter too. If you look up for the antimatter thing of the Area 51, there's a lot of antimatter in here. I don't know what went on in Area 51, but a lot of that might have something to do with what goes on here, because I've been working somewhat unconsciously with the USA on figuring these situations out. But I have these two paintings for sale that I wanted to sell, and they are very nice paintings. They're canvassed and they're beautiful, along with this London shopping guide. It's solid, but it's I'll look at it in a little bit. It's canvas, but it's very solid and it's very artistic. I've looked up art in a long time, and I'll show you some pictures of my brother. But here's a picture of me. I don't look my best right now, so I'm not. Here's a picture of me right there. But they were saying something about me being Ramesses and King Tutankhamun's father, but I don't believe it. for a minute that Cleopatra could be my mother, carried on from a different spirit, that my mother is right here. See? And my mother is very smart, very articulate, and very well oriented, but maybe she doesn't want that politician standpoint of view. She has talked about it a lot, and when she's drinking, maybe most of the time, but I don't know if there's any idea or evidence that Cleopatra was ever drunk or anything like that, but the reason why I mention extraterrestrials is because I come from a country called Dominion, and my name is Frank James Sadler, but my real name is Ezekiel L. Timothy, and that is in the Bible too, and I wrote these scriptures too. And the Predators, remember the movie on there? They have that thing about the Aztec Empire. We have the Assyrian and Babylonian Empire. Iraq used to be the Babylonian Empire, part of Iraq, and there's other things that I must say that are very interesting. The painting does have spirits that come out of it. Like that's a horse right there that he's holding on to, and those are like alien. Do you know the Alien? The movie The Alien? According to the mother, she fathered a child that came to Earth, and that was me. And Earth hasn't really had that much history besides all of the other things going on. Besides, I haven't researched the Chinese or the other countries or empires besides the Egyptian, the Nazi Empire, and the Nazis were very much ruled for a short time, but they moved at an astronomical pace that life itself was very fast. So I believe that the Nazis had something to do with it too, because they went to Egypt as well to liberate the Egyptians from the British. But the British and them, they never really had declared war. Although the British did send aid to Europe in the crisis that went on. See, there's my brother's face again right there. I'll show you a picture of him if I can find one. There's another picture of me. There's another picture of me. I do not look my best right now, but I do believe I come from Germany too, because the Illuminati was originated in Germany. I don't think I'm crazy when I say this stuff, but it's crazy that the extraterrestrials reached out to me like that and told me that. It's interesting, very interesting, and I'm very proud of them to come here because they're astronauts. So right now I'm wearing a NASA sweater. See? I'm very much proud of this young country of 319 years the United States has been standing. And George Washington came from France. So if you look up the history of the French and Indian Wars, the Indian Wars were basically France and them fighting against George Washington, because maybe George Washington disobeyed a direct order, because George Washington was the first president. And you look at the history of that, and they have a lot of obelisks and Egyptian monuments in Washington, D.C. And the architecture is of Roman descent, of Cleopatra's age. But I don't know if that has anything to do with my mother and me doing that. And that was just a theory of mine that I was looking at, that why they would do that. Because Pharaoh Headshot has called me many times on the technology that has bestowed us. You see that antimatter? That's what she calls me on. And some nights I do see things very, very much in here that are like shadow people, and they do practice stick game and hand game, and we have contact with Chief Rocky Boy, and Chief Little Bear, and we had a brief discussion of Chief Little Bear too when he did do my spiritual possessioning of me, and he had a lot of historical facts that were actually in the history books before I even looked at the history books. So I don't think I'm here with schizophrenia or psychosis or whatever these things they diagnosed me with in this country. I think they're just undisclosed themselves because they don't want to start a war with this mighty Egyptian empire. Who have you ever heard the book about Nibiru? Nibiru is another world, a whole different world besides Earth, and it's larger than Earth. And they have a lot of influence on the planet Nibiru. And the Mars Attacks Aliens, like that movie, that was a very vivid description of the world Nibiru, and the description of why they did what they did to the United States of America. And you see that guy wearing the Egyptian headdress on there and everything like that. Maybe the United States of America just doesn't realize this, but they have not disturbed Egypt, but they have admired them. They have admired Egypt a lot. And it shows on the History Channel too. The History Channel does show that they have admired Egypt very much. In France, I have basically understood that I have done things basically with my SATCOM, that's what they call these things, that I could talk to people through satellite communication. And that's how they talk to me. And basically, we are in a day and age of technology where we are on satellite communication. But basically, the good thing about this is this stays in the United States of America, because then YouTube is a United States of America product. So we do not really reach out to too many other countries when we say this, but Egypt, France, and Germany, Mexico as well, are large countries that have history here based on the Predator, because the Predator has come here too. And that's the weird reason why we're putting history together, yes. And that's the reason why I am using the technology to talk through him, through his vocal cords. Yes, that's the reason why. And I am the president of Dominion. And the reason why Dominion is so important is because Dominion is a part of your history, yes. And the history of it is that you have been drawing things when you were as a young boy. And there was always the understanding that you understood war. And yes, war has always been part of my reasoning. But the reason why I want to mention myself is because I wanted Dominion not to be not mentioned in this of the United States of America, that we are trying to be a part of the United States of America. The United States of America is their own country. Rocky Boy, Chippewa Cree Indian Reservation is a sovereign nation, and we are here based on sanctuary of theirs, based on the fact that we are from a different world as well. Yes, and being from different worlds is very interesting. Have you looked at the Mars satellite image? The Mars, it has an Egyptian, looks like Hebshut, like a monument of Hebshut that's laying down. And that's very interesting to me. Hatshepsut. That's what her name is. Yes, Hatshepsut. That's what her name was, and she still calls to me, and maybe she's been ruler for a long time, because she has a lot of monuments and a lot of history. The whole aspect of it is that we don't understand this whole dissimulation of technology, but based on the high-tech technicality that it is teleportation, but it may come from the Predator and the aliens. That's what I'm saying. And there's a mirrored status of this, but see, that comes in clear, and this comes in clear, but it goes to it's not very much, there's not very much antimatter going on right now. There's not very much extraterrestrial activity going on right now. But if you look right there in the corner, right there, there's someone standing there, and it just looked like it formed into a a person. See, I'm looking into a mirror of the TV. And look right there on the, see, right there's a shadow of an outline of a person, see, right there. You see that? And I do feel, like the ground moves when people do come in here. Like the ground shakes like this, it goes like this. Like it goes, like, it shakes up and down like someone just, fell down onto the ground. That's what I'm saying is, I'm willing to share this with you just based on the historical facts of, maybe the founding of our country. Because you look at that, and there could be evidence that the empire actually moved, and the Roman Empire actually didn't conquer Egypt. The Roman Empire actually did fall because they say barbaric attacks, but most of those attacks were from Germany as well. So Germany might have always been allies with the Egyptians, like the movie The Gladiator. Yes, and based on that, I had a brief understanding that the the king on there, or the emperor on there, the one that took over after he murdered the emperor, he did not always have the understanding that maybe that wasn't his real father. See, look at that face right there. See that face right there? And that just now popped in. But look at this understanding is maybe not, people ain't all powerful, like, you know, the movie Suicide Squad and stuff like that. They ain't all powerful, they just have an understanding of energy. Energy is for the good of your people. The good of your people is always going to be this. What could you do for your people that could benefit your cause of your existence, and to make the people happy? The people will always be the most important ones who dedicate their lives and soul to the power of a politician. A politician always rises to the top because the politician always keeps his word. The politician keeps his word because the politician makes life better for the people. The people in general need the safety aspect of having a resourceful tool of governance. And the resourceful tool of governance is not to lock the people up, but to let the people roam free. When I say that exile was the most important thing back in the day for the Egyptian culture, exile the people, not lock them up. Locking the people up will not govern them. Locking the people up will cause total self-control over all the people is madness. Based on the madness that I've seen so far in the United States of America, it's very much not our time to say that the humans are the most dominant ones out in the universe. I have reason to believe that the humans do understand basic understanding of rights and governance, but yes, and how to behave themselves. But I have behaved myself as well. But there's a fine line between governance and and dominance. Dominance is the ability to belittle someone based on their understanding. See, this is a diamond. This is a diamond too, with a intricate side of it. It has a story to tell inside of it. See, there's a face inside of it. I tested these things. They're heat proof. They're so hard that everything that I scratch with it comes out right off the thing I scratch with it. They're not scratched up or anything. They're still clear, and they're still diamonds. Are supposed to be hard as a rock. And yes, I do have something from the Egyptian culture that may interest you. There's a piece of DNA as well. See, I had the whole set, but I believe that, yes, it's very interesting. Alright, It's very interesting to know these things about the Egyptians, but the Egyptians do travel like this too, and they do things like to talk to me. And I could say that it's not Egyptians, but I'd be lying to myself by saying that I'm not talking to Egyptians. Yes, there are diamonds right here too. See? There's a braid of diamonds. And people do love these things because they're good for your woman and good for your expertise. They do have a certain power to them though. They do have a certain power to them. What I'm saying about these things, they're shaped like gems. Then the gems always come back to me, is because there's someone holding on to them for me with their life, and maybe their life savings, our life savings, and I want to spend it in the United States of America. Based on my signing sheet too, I think I had signings right here, but some people signed them with my arm. No, Cleopatra did sign it, and George Bush, FBI, Italian, it says Italian on me. And, this might be part of the Illuminati, but the Illuminati doesn't do everything. They just try to govern themselves ways to help the people. And I'm in the United States of America. Maybe I came here by accident, but not really, because of their Occupy Indian Reservation and the way it was founded. If you look at their Occupy Indian Reservation picture that I put on my Facebook page, Frank James Hadley, there's a fine line between not having the ability to take that into consideration, that that picture, there's a person with a mask on there, and there's a person who looks like my father, Frank William Sadler, on there, that we have been to America before, and I think we were exiled a lot of places. That's why I think Egyptian and the Mexican culture had a lot of control over a lot of things. But I'm gonna stop right here because I'm running out of things to say. I'm gonna look at this mirror right now, and I'm gonna see right here. You see anybody on the you see those feet and those legs right there? That clear stealth. Those feet. Remember that clear stealth that is kind of blends in like a chameleon, kind of like the predator. And I think that's what it is. But that's what I'm gonna try to tell you, is that the United States of America is a very young country, and they need all the help and support they could get. So what we could do is try to change things that are not right. We could try to change the fact that locking everybody up isn't helping everybody. It isn't helping the people. Then that's what we're there for, is the people. But when I say that, is why don't we go back to the days when we put people in... It's a legal form of slavery based on the amendment of I don't know, I can't remember what constitutional right it was, but it was an amendment that it's a legal form of slavery to when you have someone as a prisoner. So being a prisoner of the United States of America, you are basically a slave, but they could use the slaves basically in a more better fashionable way of work. So if they give them more materials and more production company, they could use the slaves to go outside and work more on work projects, and it would be more beneficial to the economy of the United States of America. The United States of America doesn't need to open their eyes when I say this. We are not using all of our resources as we should. The United States of America is a part of me only because I've become a part of them. I become a part of them by being here. And you are a very young country. But the way I roll is a very small way. I'm a tribal man. I'm a tribal chief, underground. That not all the people even know me anymore, because all the people are not even emotionally fit to understand the spiritual reawakening of some people. The spiritual reawakening of me is, I'm not trying to conquer everybody or not trying to control everybody. I'm trying to help people in the smallest way possible. And there are people out there that are very big who have contacted me. And the very big people who have contacted me understand this, that I'm very wise and very old, but there's limited resources that I have. So please understand that if you want to donate with me, please understand with this, I'm trying to raise money for a fundraiser for myself, and personally it's for my campaign into the United States of America in order to free the people. My civilization, the Rocky Bay Indian Reservation, is 106 or 100 and let's see 103 years old. We were here since 1916. We were first founded as a civilization. So I want to put it this way: the United States of America has influence over my reservation, but they do not control us. They control our amount of funding and expertise. They give it to us, but they do not control us in the way that they control our civilization or our people. They send our cops to me because their cops were trying to understand the situation, that they knew that George Washington was here. George Washington is still alive. You act like he's dead only because his body is dead. Maybe he's resurrected like the Egyptians could do. That's Egyptian technology, which we'll keep top secret. But on governance of this, I will say this: Egypt does not scare me, and neither does them on other planets. I have reason to believe that Dominion will help me in my endeavors of keeping my governance of my country and my small misfortune of not having any USA dollars. So we are out trying to open trade with the USA based on that. The money that we have is the antimatter, I believe. See, there's nothing that we could give you that we haven't already given them. If we've given them life, how could we not give them the life that intellectual ability is cost-worthy? It costs a lot of money to study and take your time and effort to understand this. Yes, I do understand. I speak for myself and through my own personal studies, and I do remember from my distant past life. But the problem is I'm not profiting from any of it. I'm not profiting because I haven't asked for anything, but I'll ask for something now. Please help me with this small disorder of my funding. Please help me get funding for my housing and personal relief of magistrate of the country that I live in, because I don't have that much resources to survive as a human. Or if I was a wild animal, I would, but there are hardly any wild animals out there anymore. If you haven't noticed that, there isn't hardly any deer out here in Rocky Boy, or hardly any animals out in Rocky Boy, or hardly any land to live off of. I would go this far to length to say this: I have that instinct to survive, but I don't know how to say this, but I have certain needs of pleasure that I need to address, that it's medication that I need and medication I seek. That's the possibility of me not having the DNA reproduction of being in the human body. Because when I was in 8th grade, ADHD medicine was called Adderall. That's the medicine that helped me up my grades and continue my studies in a very fashionable way. And I did succeed with the medication Adderall. If you look at the medication Adderall, it is co-enjoined with a German medication that you guys find laughable, but it is an amphetamine that helps me relax. It helps me relax because I have ADHD. ADHD is because my body is still moving, and the matter that I come from is not suitable with my DNA. that DNA is always trying to move away from whatever it is. And this morning I had the damn coughing realization to understand this, that I do need my medication. The medication that you guys offer at the behavioral health was not suitable to my needs, and it causes me seizures, and it causes me very much little satisfaction in my endeavors. I understand you're doctors, you feel like you're highly educated, but the highly educated part is not laughable. But when I say you guys are not the best at addressing someone's personal needs, you guys are but more in it for your own personal endeavors, because your personal endeavors don't match my criteria of my lifestyle and my living. And if it's going to hurt me as a living being, I do not want your medication. That's the truth about it. So the truth about it is, I could talk here about the stars and the galaxies, but I do need these personal needs met. I need to have these personal needs met. So thank you. If you understand my fundraiser for the paintings, that's what I want to sell. Thank you.